It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 180. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, Final Fantasy XIV Orchestral Arrangement Album Volume 2 is on sale. Announcing the winners of the Memoirs of Adventure Creative Writing Contest, Tales from the Shadows Updated, Moogle Treasure Trove, The Hunt for Mythology commences September 30th, and fan mail. But first, let's shoot the shit. What's been going on this week? Hi, Ruby.
Hi, Yelta. How are you?
I am excellent. How are you doing?
I'm good. So you mentioned episode 180. I think it's a cool number. I actually thought of the old Xbox 360 memes.
Oh my god, the ones that were wrong.
That, you know, like when you see an Xbox 360, it turn 360 degrees and walk away.
Yes.
That's not actually walking away. You want to turn 180 degrees.
People didn't apparently go to a math class.
No, they were playing Xbox. So that was the problem. Oh, the console wars. Does that even happen anymore? I don't know. It's something. I have them all. Except I don't have an Xbox. I have an Xbox controller. I play games on PC. To me, fair enough. So, yeah, I have all of the consoles. I have a PlayStation Mini now. I have all of these consoles, and I don't play them. So I've actually, Yelta, have spent more time playing other games recently than I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV. I think that's somewhat of a trend right now. People have talked about the lull. You can tell it's a lull because itinerant Moogles appear.
Yes.
So I don't think that's any secret. It would be more of a secret, though, to say, like, it's a lull because I've done everything in game and I'm bored. That is not even close to the case. There's still a lot for me to do in the game, still lots of things that I would want to do, but I'm a little tired. I just really want to focus my time in other things, and I could talk forever at that, but it's my life and my personal what I'm feeling right now. So, you know, the game is in a good place, I think. I think everybody every now and again has to take a personal appraisement of what they're doing and how they want to spend their time, and I did, and I wanted to spend some time in other aspects. So spending time with my family, spend a lot of time at work. Those that have followed know that, you know, I changed jobs this past year, and part of that is I'm doing a completely different role that this time of the year I do a lot that's kind of like HR benefit type things. And for those that know, this is benefit season. And so it's very busy for me. And some of that is even in the evenings. I work a full weekend this coming weekend, Sunday as well. So I'm busy, and spending my time wisely is something that I've been thinking about recently. So anyway, in short, I haven't done quite so much in game, but I've been playing other things, and I'm happy to talk about the other things that I've been playing. I've been loving some Cube World. That finally came out. It's been 87 years.
Oh, it's not technically. Is it technically out yet, or are we still doing
probably
that
by
test?
the time you listen to this podcast? It's out, because I think September 30th is the actual launch day.
So that's Monday.
For those of us that were in the alpha 6 years ago, you were given a Steam key. So log in if you still have your old alpha account. Go log in on the website that you can get your Steam key and play. And some things changed drastically. No more XP. It's like a item progression system or weapon progression system. And for better or worse, that's how it's gone. Some people don't like it. I think it has potential. I think it's a good base, but you've got to expand more on it with the horizontal progression. And we've talked about that too, where 14 had a very strict vertical progression right at the get-go. There was very few ways that you could do horizontal progression. And now, you know, there's 5 different ways to get armor and 5 different ways to get a weapon. I remember like when not Heaven on High, but Palace of the Dead came out. There was a moment where there was like you could get a Palace of the Dead weapon and it was somewhat relevant. You could get an EX weapon, it was somewhat relevant. You could get a tome weapon and it was relevant. You can get a weapon from Beating Savage and it was relevant. And there was like one other way. Oh well, I think it was the diadem when you could do an emergency mission or whatever. Yeah. If you could get one, it would have been relevant. Oh, and there was probably Relic as well.
Yep,
so there were multiple ways when you got into 3.0 that they had started developing ways to to give you horizontal progression, and I think that's what Cube World needs is a more widespread horizontal progression and things with the artifacts. And don't let you lose your shit when you go from biome to biome. I think that's pretty crappy. But anyway, that's something
weird. Yeah.
it's kind of I mean, think if you go from Alamigo to, another area.
And now you're naked.
You're naked. Nothing works. And you can't use your mounts again.
Nothing like gliding into another zone. That's fun.
And then you fall. Anyway, so that I bought one of those PlayStations on the cheap. They're like $20. They're $20 or $30. The PlayStation Classics, and waved a magic wand over it, and I got 100 games on it. So that's a lot of fun. Get at me if you have any questions about that. It's been a blast. So I've been doing that and dusted off to the old 3DS and doing some things there, and I don't know. Just a lot of other stuff, but I'm excited about what's coming. We talked a lot at the beginning of the podcast before we started about 5.1, and I'm super excited for what's coming around the corner. So as soon as these itinerant Moogles get out of the way, I think I'll be ready to really push and do some more stuff in game. But anyway, Yelta, tell us about what you've done.
I might have played marginally more Final Fantasy 14 than you. I believe it. I think was it 2 weeks ago? It's been 2 weeks now. We had just gone and gotten our did you go raiding with me that night? I can't remember if you were there or not. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
We got to 6%.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
So I didn't go this last week. I wasn't feeling altogether great. Of course, they cleared. So now I wasn't there. You weren't there. So we were the problem. Clearly.
I believe it.
No, I've had tears cleared without me before, and you do kind of be like, well, I guess whatever, but whatever. So that makes me pout, but it's my own fault for not logging in and doing it. But I wasn't feeling so awesome. But I did go on Friday. Somebody had put a Rathalos EX learning clear farming party or whatever in the free company. So I showed up, and we had too many people sign up, which is fine. But we just started with a 4-man group. It was me and Frey and Minja and Phelan, I think, and we tried a few times and it just wasn't working. So we're like we're getting frustrated. So we broke the group and formed with some of the other. Reformed with some of the other people playing, and we did eventually get a clear. And then I got enough of those things to get a Poogie, whatever the scales were. So I got a Poogie now. And then a Raven or somebody logged in and took the healing spot from me. Well, I said it the wrong way. She came and she swooped down and stole it from me. No, but yeah, and I think they went and cleared just fine too. So I don't know how much longer they went. I did my weekly crafting stuff and did some other stuff too that night, which was nice to get done. I haven't been playing a ton. I keep going back and forth. I keep feeling bad that I'm not logging in and playing more. But then I'm like, man, I got like 95% done of everything I wanted to get done. I leveled up a bunch of. I've said this 2 weeks ago, I think. I did all the role quests, and I leveled all my gatherers, and I got most of my crafters up, and EX primals are my jam. I learned, cleared, and farmed the stuff I wanted out of there. So, and kind of until more people need stuff, I'm just going to be over here. And I'm playing Cube World too. I've been playing a lot of WoW Classic. I just downloaded. Was it Link's Awakening on Switch?
That's been fun. I've been watching that on Twitch streams. That looks great.
That's a lot of fun. I don't think I played the original. I don't remember why not. I don't think we had a handheld at that point or something. I don't recall. But that's fun. I downloaded that unnamed duck game too last night.
It looks great too.
Oh my god. I need to go out because some people on Twitter have been drawing Final Fantasy ducks being assholes kind of crossover stuff, and they're hilarious. There's one of Emet Hades lounging in Amarat, and the goose. He's a goose. The goose goes out and is running away with his mask. Somebody put it on a t-shirt. I may have to go find it and order it. It's just that good. It's just that good. So I didn't even finish the whole first goose mission, but I
I think it's relatively short. If you want to clear it, it just reminded me of some old school puzzle games because, sometimes you have to grab the key when somebody's not looking and, get through something or whatever else. So it gave me that old point and click adventure feel.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed it. And it was it's nice to actually have a game that's just kind of simple, right? I play all these other games and you can spend hours researching and learning and leveling. And it's nice just to have a game where I can just, pop it on, play it for 10 or 20 minutes and, there's only 4 controls plus movement or whatever, honking doesn't even do anything. And it's nice to have something just a little bit more basic. And as much as I love playing multiplayer games, I love playing MMOs. I think I'm kind of getting burned out on people right now a little bit. So, it's, our free company had a growth spurt and then there was a bumpy patch and then there's been some other stuff going on and not really like super drama-y, but it's getting a little tiring. So I'm kind of taking a step back and then I feel bad because I'm the founder of the free company. You and I are the founders. That's why are we running stuff and doing stuff? But I keep up on the Discord pretty much. And there was a call put out today. Anybody free on Saturday night? Let's just do something. So I'll probably log in. I might not sign up for anything, but I might just log in, do something, see what everybody wants to do. I think the thought was floated to just go pound some old primals. I don't need any of that stuff, but it'd be nice maybe to reconnect with some people in Discord and chit chat.
Yeah, and you don't have to think a lot. It's the old
feel stressed
stuff.
out. Yeah, because I noticed that even when we're raiding, we start out sometimes with serious raid phase, and then by the second half of our raid night, unless we're doing really good or getting really close or whatever, we're chatting about other games and stuff, and I'm like, but we're losing our raid focus. So I think maybe some of us might need to just play more, and that's stuff like maps and stuff some of the easier stuff is better, for just getting to socialize a bit. So maybe I just need to do some more of that.
And I got one comment to that. I don't necessarily think that that's always a terrible thing if the raid kind of forms or transforms into just a fun, hey, I don't know. I know that's not the objective of the raid to chit chat or whatever, but sometimes if you're having a bad night or you're not feeling like you're getting anywhere, it's just nice to know that at least everybody else is friendly about it. It only takes one person to be get frustrated or mad at the circumstance to bring the mood down. And just as it takes one person to go, well, we're not pushing this or we're not doing this and I'm getting frustrated. The same also is for the people that's I suck. I'm not good tonight. I'm not feeling it. I must be the one dragging us down. Both sides of that spectrum don't make it a fun event. I would rather people just be I fucking fell off the edge again, wah, wah, or something, and roll with it and be at least fun with it. I would rather have fun than clear sometimes.
Well, we've been together playing this game and talking about this game for years now, and we've raided together before quite a bit, and we both know what it's like to have those nights where you basically log in, you're raid face all night, and especially if it goes shitty, you just basically rage quit out when the hour is up or 2 hours is up anyway.
Oh yeah, you just log off and you don't.
And don't even say good night. Don't even say good night. I'm just all right, well, see you next week, and hang up. So that's. I don't know. I'm kind of having a break, but I have a feeling that, and while this is kind of an extended break for me, I've never really taken maybe 2 weeks where I kind of logged in. I've never really not logged in regularly this much. So, part of you's do I want to play the game or whatever? But I'm looking forward to stuff that's coming up. I'm looking forward to 5.1. I'm very excited in what that's going to bring and whatever. And I could be doing more right now to prepare and gear out and whatever. But for one thing, 5.1 is going to be the patch where it's not going to be harder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not, it's going to be, the 24-man is not going to be harder than E1S. So it's kind of why I'm not going to burn myself out. I should probably go and relearn how to play my Black Mage. I'd like to be able to bring out.
Oh, I've been thinking about that because that's another thing we've talked about like things that make you go, 14 right now, you know? And for me, as a summoner, it's been very difficult. I don't necessarily want to play red mage, and black mage is like the fun caster right now.
Now it is,
right?
yeah. That's my understanding anyway. I'd have to be able to push buttons good enough to try it, but but other than that, I haven't really played. Pretty much just played like 2 or 3 nights in the last 2 weeks. But I'm sure it'll hit me again when new stuff comes out. That night, I do still have a couple crafters I'd like to finish up, and yeah, I suppose I could have map parties again. I just haven't been real worried about that lately. So, for me, the lull is here, and I know somebody asked or was complaining or was commenting the other day to me that people make it sound like the lull is bad. And I'm like, well, not really. She already... Yeah, I kind of miss a MMO where I could log in every day, and there was never enough time to get everything done anyway, so there was always something yet to strive for. So it is a little weird to log in, to be like, well, I'm kind of done now till the next patch cycle. The next, patch hits. But at the same time, I also don't feel like I'm missing anything by not logging in, so it kind of takes the pressure off, which I think is what that's his design.
Right.
So I've just I was explaining this to Kariri the other day. I'm like, I've just kind of accepted the design decisions, even if I don't care for them. Mm-hmm. So... And
what are you going to do? Yoshida's not going to change anything.
He's not going to change the game to, fit my whims. And I enjoy a great deal of the game, which is important to say. As much as I can be like, we occasionally, I won't say shit on the game, but we have criticisms of the game, and usually it's just because, it's not really the whole game. It's just, I wish they did this instead of that or whatever. But I really love and am enthusiastic about much of the game. And have been for how many years now. So it makes me mad when people are like, well, you just don't like the game. And I'm like, no, I don't like maybe one tiny thing in the game, or I'm perplexed why they don't do this other thing. But I really do love and enjoy. We wouldn't get together once a week and talk for 2 hours and edit podcasts and put them up and shit. I mean, it's not like we're making a living wage doing this or anything. So we're doing it because we enjoy the game and we enjoy sharing our news and commentary with the community. The other thing I did this week is I got an email. So do you remember, think back, listener, where I was saying how I had pre-ordered the Shadowbringers soundtrack, right? And my payment failed, and I thought, I'll do it tomorrow. They only wait exactly 24 hours before they cancel your pre-order. Mm-hmm. So I ran in there and I pre-ordered it, and I have received it. I just got an email. Apparently, I pre-ordered it on a second account, too. I'm getting another copy.
Oh, send it to me. I need one.
Do you not have it? Seriously?
I don't have it. I really don't have it.
I will send you mine, because, oh my god. Yeah,
you can keep the minion code. I don't care.
Oh, no, I have a minion code. Give that away if you don't want it. But, yeah, I'm kind of sitting there because now I'm thinking, you know what? I remember pre-ordering it, and then I remember talking about it on the podcast and saying, oh, I didn't pre-order it, and pre-ordering it. I bet I did it on 2 different accounts. So I'm going to have to. So we'll see what happens. I can send you one.
Cool.
Not that I've even peeled the plastic off the one I already got, but at least it didn't arrive cracked like Phrase did.
Yeah, that's terrible. That? Another stunning achievement from the Square Enix store.
Yeah, they don't ship them. I don't know how you're supposed to ship Blu-rays. Mine have never been damaged, but I've been the exception for everybody else's bad stories. I'm always like, well, mine went fine. But yeah, I don't know. It is shitty when your stuff arrives broken. But anyway, that was my week, which wasn't really much of a week. I do want to do more Rathalos. It's a very different fight. It's not. It takes me forever to remember how it works and to dodge and.
I still haven't beaten it, Yelta.
Jesus Christ,
I need to do it.
Jesus Christ. It's fun. All right, listener, you can shoot the shit with us on the website, www.gtffxiv.com. Let us know what you've been up to this week. All right, the first round is news. Final Fantasy XIV Orchestral Arrangement Album Volume 2 is on sale. I don't think I even ordered the first one. What's on
the other
this
one's
bed?
green. It's like
The
a
other one's
lime green color.
What's on here?
This one's pink.
It's Japanese import CD, 8 tracks. Is there a track list?
Let's look at description. I think at one point they didn't have, well, they still don't, the track list fully available yet. So I don't see it.
Well, fine. There's some 8 mystery songs on here. I'm sure they're wonderful. But it's out. And as always, these arrangement albums can be quite fun to listen to. All right. Announcing winners of the Memoirs of Adventure Creative Writing Contest. This is the one, weren't we surprised so many people had entered?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I have not read any of these, but congratulations to the winners. Do I know any of these names? Let me just... It's getting to the point now, though, that there's so many people, and even new people, playing Final Fantasy XIV, that I don't even see old names as much anymore. They kind of get drowned out by the... We got a lot of new players, which is
it's
awesome.
good, though. Yeah.
All right, but the prizes should be out, and you should be able to see them in your mailbox. Let's see what's next. Tales from the Shadows updated. I read this, but I don't even remember it now.
So we didn't cover, I don't think, the third one. Let's take a step back and look. No, we did. We talked about this one. We talked about the one with Alpha, right?
Right.
It was the newest one. I do remember this because this is Emet-Selch. This is the story of Hades and his friend who was getting on his nerves. There's a scene in here with Hades laying in the grass and his friend comes over and they kind of have a talk because I think there was a congratulatory for Hades becoming Emet-Selch. And just kind of a little back and forth because things aren't going well and we need some help. And I think this is like a precursor to shit's going to go down. That's what I got out of it. There's issues. There's going to be some things, and and Phoenix. We met Phoenix here. This was the soul. This was the first time a soul had been conjured up, and maybe
it got caught in the creation. It was a soul,
right. And so maybe that was part of that unwinding. Maybe there's something to this that will give us some insight as the patches come along of what really happened for the undoing of the Acids. I hope we understand more. I don't know who will tell us. La Habrea is gone. Emet-Selch is gone, and we only have the emissary left, Elidibus, right?
Yeah, Elidibus, and Elidibus, maybe Elidibus will chat with us. I have no idea. What else? What is left in the worlds that could, I don't know. I guess they do have the ability to summon sundered souls of their brethren into people or something too. But I don't really understand that 100%. And it talks a little bit about him in Garmeld when he was. This kind of got to me a little bit. I reread this because first I didn't quite understand it because I looked at this as, well, he's in his old body. He's running the empire now, so he's the evil Emet-Selch that we all know and hate. And there's a line in here where he's talking about Varys, his grandson, and that he reminds him of his son, and that, his son had died before his time, he felt, and he remembered back of the baby. And he looked back at himself as like, that was that one moment of weakness that
he felt back, like he was pulled into actually caring and loving again and feeling something. And then that child died, and it's like he remembered his mission. That's what I took from it.
Yeah. And it kind of covers, well, and then a lot of people kind of struggle with how can Hades be okay with, destroying all this life? Well, he doesn't really consider these to be full, our characters in our world, any of it to be full and real. They're malformed creatures, is how the story puts it. So, I don't know. And it's weird because, he even talks in the story about how he lived and sired children and had his heart broke. He did have a Eorzean life too.
Right.
So.
And then there was a bunch of art. I saw a lot of people drawing pictures of Hades and his friend in the grass and all that. The Emmett Selk art. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of thirsty.
Really? People are still so thirsty. Oh my
People
God.
still want to bang Emmett Selk.
It's
hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have Cloud to bang next year, I mean, save yourself.
Save something for next year. Save something for Monday, because Monday we get the Moogle treasure trove. So that, the Moogle's back because we aren't logging in.
Because we hit a lull.
So from Monday, September 30th at 1 a.m. PDT until the launch of patch 5.1, which we think is probably less than a month away from that date. So you don't have forever to do this. They might do that thing, I haven't read in here, again, where if you've earned them, you'll be able to spend them later. Because the Moogle hasn't gone away. And the Moogle might just stay now, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Just kind of turn on and off when the time comes.
The Moogle will just stay there, and if you have any of the stuff he will currently accept,
So, riddle me this, Batman. Did they completely revise the list or just add items to the list?
I think it's a whole different. Well, we have the link to the other one. You linked that, so let's have a look. First of all, to note, these are different tomes. You do not get to use any tomes you've had saved up for this.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So the other one was philosophy. This is mythology. Right? Mm-hmm. So this one, the star thing is this earring. What's that?
They sure as hell are reusing those old tome names. I did not even realize that. And it's the old graphics, the one stripe, the two stripe now. Okay.
So it looks like there's a not a firework, what do they call those? The crystals and an earring of the two new unique things. Mm-hmm. So it's the same as last time, kind of this list of stuff that will give you queue up and do it, and then you will be rewarded. Don't do it in progress because you don't get it. They note that the event may be suspended without warning. Duties associated with the event will have the little Moogle head. We'll have the little Moogle head next to it. You cannot use an undersized party. You cannot join a party in progress. This is interesting. They have, thank goodness, somebody who grinded out 100 of the old tombstones at 3 at a time by doing MSQ roulette. They now will give you 10 per Praetorium and 7 for Castor Meridianum.
That's great.
So that's really pretty fast. It's going to be less. It was just a little bit too much soul sucking, and now it's just like, here's quite a few.
Mm-hmm. The next one's great too.
Yeah, well, it's 5 for these different PvPs. The Borderlands Ruin Secure, Fields of Glory Shatter, Seal Rock Seas, and Hidden Gorge are all 5. And I'm
there was no PvP in the last one.
No, it was Labyrinth of the Ancients, or the old tower, which is back. You can do that. Those 3 Crystal Tower ones. Tamtara's back. Copperbell Mines is back. Karn is back. Stone Vigil's back.
Just not at one tombstone, which is what they gave.
There's 3 now.
That's
so you can
great.
now either get 10, 7, 5, or 3. So that's not too bad, honestly. I don't know how or why they chose what they did, but are they all storyline ones? I don't remember. But anyway, irregular tombstones in Mythology can only be obtained during the event period. Oh, they're doing it again. Where item exchanges will be available until the release of patch 5.2. So you don't have to spend them during this first period, but you do have to spend them before 5.2 comes out. Looks like the Moogles are in the same spot. I think the prices for purchasing things are similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the earring, the new earring is 100. The Falcon Ignition Key, yeah, that was an item from a previous, I think, like just logging in campaign, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple of lantern whistles, white and rose. Oh, and now they're round and stuff. Yeah, I think they're going to rotate some of the stuff around here. The Answers Orchestral roll is still there. I still don't have that, so that might be worth just getting 50 things for. That's not that many runs.
I don't know. Turn 9 is soloable now. So.
Well, I see, and I have thought about just seeing if I get people. I know some people lately been talking about like glamour from Coil and stuff, and I'm like, well, we could. So
that'd be fun.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here. A lot of the writing maps. Some of the other the different beast tribe mounts, looks like. This wind-up, I don't know how you say her name. I don't think I have her, because I never can seem to get a good... That's only 7. That would be 1 MSQ roulette.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then they have a Magic Prism Job Mastery times 10 for 1, and that's these 3 stars above that in that picture there, I think.
You know, for the one in May, the prices here are similar to that. It was either they should have lowered the prices in May, or they should have given you more tomes. I think the more tomes is a good option. It's fine. It balances it out. Mm-hmm. And it makes you feel like I can run one of these things one time just for the hell of it, not even really trying to get anything. And you could pick up a few things, maybe a card, maybe, some junk, whatever, a minion. But you don't have to really bust your balls to get any of this stuff. And if you want to, at the very most, you got to run 10 Praetoriums. I know that's 10 hours of your time, but if you really want that earring, you'll spend 10 hours doing that. I don't think it's that out of the question. It doesn't mean you got to do them back to back. You can do one per day. You got some time.
Well, I still have stuff to level, right? So for me, just doing MSQ roulette is going to get me 7 or 10. And when I get into this, I'll probably do my roulette every day. You just unclick that in progress flag, and you'll just run it and chat with your party or watch YouTube. I don't know. So it's back, and I think we're going to see this forever now. I think anytime they suspect a lull, I think we're going to start seeing this.
I don't mind them rotating the things out. Yeah. I think rotating the tomes is a little goofy. I think they should stick with one tome type and then rotate the items. And if you miss the item, we'll wait till next year. It's going to come around again. If you give it after a patch, they'll add, they'll remove, whatever.
It does seem weird. Well, what if now they just only rotated from like 2 or 3 tomes? What if it cycled back then? What if they're going to only do 4 different tomes, right?
Well,
so
I could
like
see that.
Quarterly or something?
Because you're going to run out of old tomes to rename the shit to.
Well, I think for one thing, if it's always the same tome, people will feel like they can do this anytime by swapping out the tome and being like, you get that fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. That's what's driving people to do this. If they put this up and it was just always available, I wouldn't play more to do it.
No.
Right? So you have to have that fear of missing out. So, but this one is not as brutal. That was too much, that earlier one. I to get 100 tomes was just so much work.
No, the whole idea is to get people to run these types of dungeons more, and to give you something to do during the lull. But what it did in May was made people... I think some people did it. But I think for a lot of people, they felt like it was over the top and it was more insult
It soured
than it was.
a lot of people.
I'm not going to do this shit.
I'm so glad they took the seemingly special Time War map out, because for 50 tomes, you get 2 maps. All they did is have a 100% chance of having the
that was
portal.
a joke. I don't even think they knew what they were putting in there the first time. They just threw some shit together, and it didn't work. This is much better.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind them. And, as much as my knee-jerk reaction at first was like, well, I grinded through that stuff back in the day or whatever. Yeah, but I've also had my direwolf whistle for 4 years now or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really hurting me. Now, yes, I would still be salty if they put, the summoner horn or something. I don't mind if we have like 3 or 4 things that are still kind of too sacred to be just sold or put in here, but
Talmud horn.
Talmud horn would be one of them.
White Raven should have been.
White Ravens should have been. I'm still very salty about that. I still have a pair of White Ravens in my inventory because I already have one in my bank. Ulf doesn't have any White Ravens at all because he bought them and threw them away.
Why?
Because he knew I was so mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, honey, don't do that. Just take them. It's not your fault. So, but I appreciate his solidarity, I guess. I think the topic of the legacy tattoo came up again. People think they should have it.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say people got it tattooed on their ankle or something and it came up. No, people want that. Oh, my God.
I wouldn't mind if they gave a different back tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe similar but different.
Oh, yeah. Where I saw it was, what if that symbol was the mask of the 14th person? What if that was the shape of the mask is the symbol on the back? But then Anonymous, I think, said, well, that's the mark of the 12. And it completely
blew that out
debunked
of the water,
what somebody was like. It's the mark of the 14. And I was like, it's the mark of the 12. But then it came up like the one that left the 14. Yeah. What if they got what if they had 12 people accompany them? And so it was 13 versus 13. Mm-hmm. It was you and the 12, which may have ended up being the gods, the matrons, whatever. And then the Asians, a leader in the 12. So I don't know.
I'm still surprised we had to pick a patron deity that didn't mean anything. The only place it's ever reflected in game, to my knowledge, is when you get married.
Yeah,
that doesn't do, and you have a birthday and you have that
6.0. Maybe it'll come out.
Yeah. The way this game goes, it's like, well, you picked this thing 5 years ago, and here it's going to matter. All right. Yeah, I do plan on Monday or soon after getting on and trying to get some of these tombstones.
Damn it, Yelta. I open Twitter and first thing I see is a half-naked Emmett Selk.
Where?
In a bath towel. Where? Point me to it. Save that picture.
Oh, no. Yeah, I try really hard not to open Twitter when we're recording because it just sucked down the tunnel. Just gone now. Oh,
somebody said giggity.
Giggity. All right, then I think we're ready for happy hour. We did have some tweets this week, and the Bobo Hotep said, "Do you think that we may ever see Sin show up in Final Fantasy XIV? I think that would make an awesome raid. That's a cool idea. Sin was an interesting bad guy, it might, or not even a bad, it was. I actually did." Finish that game. That's a game I've actually played all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that would be neat. I wouldn't mind them, they've been pulling raids. Now, Nier is kind of weird because they're pulling that from a whole different, non-Final Fantasy kind of world. And I'm excited and terrified to see what they do. But, something from 10 or Sin or something might be cool.
I think it's actually a pretty good idea. I see it more as the 8-man raid series than I do the 24-man raid, but I guess it could go either way. I think it's a neat concept, and I think 10 resonated with a lot of people. So I think, and it's probably getting close to 10 having its time again. 7's having this resurgence. 8 got its remake. maybe it's 9's time to show up, but from 14's standpoint, we did have Ozma. We've had some 9-related content already. So I really wouldn't mind the concept of Sin coming up. I would like to see it like heavy religious overtones if we're going to go like some Yu Yevon kind of stuff, and let's really get in there with it and see what kind of cool storyline can come out of it. I actually saw a car the other day, and I thought the license plate said Yu Yevon, but it was something different. And I was like, somebody got Yu Yevon as their glamour plate? That's pretty sweet. But I was like, oh no, learn to read, Ruby. That's not what it says. So obviously I had Sin on the mind because I was thinking about Final Fantasy X. So yeah, I can totally see it working. I don't know what they would do. I loved Auron. I loved a lot of the concepts around 10. We do have Ronzo now, I guess, for the first, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a little bit of leaning that direction. I don't know where they'll go next with any of the stuff. I really was a fan of Void Arc because I felt like it was original.
Yeah.
I think for better or worse, we really haven't done anything original. Now it's like, let's pull from other games or other Final Fantasies. And I like that too, but I kind of would like to see some. It would
be fun for them to have an original
stuff.
One again. Yeah.
At the same time, I want to see some more 11 stuff too. I'd love to see some 11 raids.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
So we'll see how that goes. And then we also will have, at some point, and I believe they've confirmed this, another open world dungeon, something like Baldizian Arsenal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they'll theme that one either, because that had an 11 theme. Baldizian Arsenal had a lot of 11 in it. So I don't know if they'll go a similar direction and use other Final Fantasy throwbacks for it, or if they'll do something completely different. But I would expect that whatever the next incarnation of Baldizian Arsenal is, it'll be bigger and better, and they'll have better.
Did you ever do?
I never touched it, but didn't we have some free company members recently run through it?
I don't know. I was terrified to do it because everybody's like, ooh, it's hard, and there wasn't enough people in the free company who were even doing Eureka at all. So I never did it. I fully think I could have, but I just never got around to it. I don't know. They're going to eventually go back. People have been talking about Eureka. We got a lot of people who are like really deeply now looking at a lot of glamour and stuff, and who never really did Eureka. And they've talked a bit about making Eureka soloable. I don't know if it needs to be soloable, but if being able to take like a light party in there, right? If you should be able to, if you can find three other people that are interested, it might be cool if you could go do it. So, but I don't know. So I like to do that stuff when it comes out because, I know newer people don't have that opportunity, which is why they're constantly making older content more accessible. But I don't know. All right, we have quite a few tweets here from William Riley. He says, 1 minute, listening to your episode 176. I'm listening to your episode 176 where you're talking about you might be the bad player. I love playing, usually just use Duty Finder because I'm still just learning. I have gone into duty as a new Dark Knight. I've told him it's a new job. Halfway through, the healer stopped and said, I have to leave because I was not holding aggro. Maybe 3 mobs got to the healer and it was Haiku Manor. Hating this arrival. I'm now scared to use Party Finder. Okay, first of all, there are assholes in any game. There are assholes in any random Duty Finder party. You rolled bad dice. Some people aren't patient for anything. And, don't try not to let that get you down.
Right.
He continues, I feel bad. I like being a tank, but I only pull small groups, partly because I play to have fun and try to get used to the dungeon. I guess I should stop tank pulling. Wall-to-wall seems scary. Okay, even as someone who's run through a dungeon as a healer, I don't like doing my first run-through as a tank with wall-to-wall pulls because I don't know how hard they hit. Mm-hmm. I just really I don't know. Now, when I was running through with Bell Dandy as my healer, and he said just keep running, I just kept running until I couldn't, and that's okay. But when you're just queuing in with strangers, there's a lot of pressure there. And yeah, if you're not used to the dungeon, and I don't always know what pulls to make. Sometimes you're like, do I grab that patrolling one, or do I just hang on to these? Do I stop here? Do I keep going? I mean, there's some dungeons that will wreck you if not everybody's ready.
Right.
And it's, well, what's that one people always talk about? It's in, oh man, the second boss is the
which expansion?
Stormblood.
We talking about the outdoor one that's in the...
it's outdoors.
Yeah, the Bardam's Metal, when
yes.
you turn the corner. Yeah.
Bardam's Metal, that first pull, almost every time I've done it, unless I'm completely geared out and the tank is completely geared out, and everybody's pushing the right buttons and using AoE rotations, I've lost good tanks on there because I've mistimed heals.
Yeah.
That wrecks
there's a
good
left
tanks.
turn when you go in there, and if you turn that corner, there's like another set of ads or something right there. A lot of tanks can't hold it there, and it's really that's hard. The dungeon. And the healers have issues in that part because that's the dungeon where you have to start actually picking up gear again. Your gear from Heavensward starts falling off at the what is that 65 mark, something like that. So
yeah, that's where really the gear you already could have had from the last expansion, especially since you level so quickly and get through the dungeons, moving through the storyline so quickly, you can hit that dungeon and not be prepared.
Yeah, if you weren't savage geared from Heavensward final tier, you were needing to pick up gear at that point, and some people got it. Some people got hit in the face and they figured it out. For William Riley, my man here, I don't think you should terribly worry about it so much in the early dungeons because if you're going back to our previous few episodes, so we were talking about the wall-to-wall pulling. I think that's a completely different circumstance. We're talking about wall-to-wall pulling in experts. When you've already done these dungeons once or twice before, and if you're an expert, you are completely leveled up to the highest level possible and are geared up proper enough to enter these, and you should have a full knowledge of all the abilities that you're working with.
You should at least have your welfare set of gear. You should, and maybe even, some other stuff too.
Running Hawk Manor is not that. So don't feel bad about that. I would say number one, and I don't know if there's more tweets here before we go on, but I would say number one, know your current set of abilities. Because if you are losing mobs, then something's wrong. You do need to work on holding hate at that point, unless they are over healing or are over DPSing, but
or pulling extra mobs for you.
There could be some circumstances where they're screwing it up for you, but if there's three and you've got all three and then suddenly one or two fall off or something, then work on holding your aggro. Work on the fundamentals of what the tanking is. It may be fun, but work on the fundamentals so it's fun for everyone.
Well, and I sometimes have to rearrange my buttons, right? Make sure my tank stance is on. I make sure I'm geared up is pretty legit for whatever I'm going into. Nothing super lacking.
Make sure your weapon is as good as it's going to. Your weapon is extremely important. There are times people have geared up stuff and they keep forgetting their weapon or whatever. That weapon can make or break you. So make sure you do that. And there was something else I wanted to say. It was not holding aggro. Maybe 3 mobs got to the healer. It was Hawk Manor.
Well, there's no reason not to have tank stance on in a dungeon, so never turn that off, right? Right. You do have defensive cooldowns. Make sure you know what they do. You might want to reread your buttons. Cross-class skills, you still have to select those, do you?
Sure.
Or do you have to make sure you go to the other menu? So make sure you've got all your cross-class skills.
Well, do we still have cross-class where we click them? We do. So you're going to have to make sure they're...
You still have to drag them onto your bar from the other menu, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you have to choose them anymore, but I think you have to still go. It's a different menu now. So, or one of the menus, one of the menus has all your abilities. The other menu still has all of your cross-class ones. Or role actions, I guess they're called now. What's the other thing I can think of if you're losing aggro? 90% of the time when I've met tanks that were losing aggro and they were hitting their buttons right, it's just gear, usually. Or a misunderstanding on which actions
let's keep
AoE.
reading, Yelta, because I think there's some insight in the next section here.
All right, so the next one is, so to update my comment, I really thought Dark Knight was sacrificing his life for damage, but now I've played Dark Knight, and he was a bad tank. LOL, I'm not good, but I don't lose life that fast. I have more problems keeping aggro as Dark Knight, but I'll get better with practice. But I'm worried of doing that for the fourth roulette. I was the healer. The fourth roulette I was in. The healer stopped following because I did. Not keep everything's aggro. I can do it with warrior, but I must be missing something. Yeah,
what is it? Salted Earth? What is the thing
Salted Earth is the one you put on the ground. And I haven't played.
Is that the one with the kind of spiky things come up around and that's your AoE ability?
Salted Earth is just the AoE you drop on the ground. There's another one. Christ, our Darknet listeners.
Darkest Night. I don't know. I don't know any of the abilities.
I know there's a big AoE one that I can spam all the time when I do it. I can't remember the name of it.
Is that the one with the claw thingies kind of come out of the ground? It looks like
it makes a cool sound. Yeah, it looks like little black spikes come out of the ground. I think goes something. But
yeah, you can tell how much Dark Knight I play.
Yeah, I haven't played any Dark Knight in 5.0. I leveled them all last time, I think there's.
I don't know what levels you get these abilities.
Yeah,
I'm not sure at Hawkman or what the thing is. I don't know which fourth dungeon this is if you kept running Hawkman or over and over if you haven't. I think the issue would be find whatever that AoE ability is on the particular tank. Look, all the tanks, they may have different animations, but they're going to be cookie cutter to some aspect. Mm-hmm. So Warrior's got an AoE something. Dark Knight's got an AoE something. Gunbreaker's got an AoE something. And Paladin's got an AoE something.
Well, yeah.
Paladin's got two AoE somethings, I think.
Yeah, it's got two. But when I'm playing different tanks and I swap them out, I try to make sure, I play on mouse and keyboard, I try to make sure buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and control 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all do the same thing in the same position for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. So my, one damage combo will be 1, 2, 3, my AoE threat getter will be 4, my defensive cooldowns will be control 1, 2, and 3. So I don't even have to think what job I've switched to. I know that if I hit 4, I'm grabbing everything. The only other thing I think of is sometimes if a healer has regen on you, as you grab mobs, if you don't actually tag all of them, you might lose one. So, I don't know how experienced a tank you are, but you do have that meter on your screen with all the mobs currently interested in you, and you can click on that to see which one you've lost and provoke it back or whatever. So I guess maybe running through mobs and not grabbing them all could be a problem, especially if you have latency. My Ulf has latency issues, so we do at my house, but he can hit a button and the mobs come running at him, but by the time the game registers he's hit his AoE, they've already run back and hit the healer, which is me. So sometimes, might double check you not having extreme latency issues too. The only way you know that though is to I don't know, maybe do you have anybody you play with in game that you can talk to? I don't know. Half the time I know I'm having latency issues because I yell, bullshit, I was out of that.
I've heard her say it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or I sometimes just yell, lies. And then I know I should have rebooted my router before raid night because...
That's it.
Well, a couple things have been... Well, on a completely different topic, but there have been a couple things in 5.0 that snapshot so early. Specifically, that one, the one big
It's like guillotine. From E2S. Guillotine comes out quick.
Yeah, well, the one Innocence EX has that one big movie does. Basically, it's snapshot so early. You already have to have everybody buffed up, topped off before it hits, or before it even looks like it hits. And there's some early snapshotting stuff in E2S that I've noticed. It seems to snapshot so early. My dead body is out of whatever the AoE was. So it's extraordinarily frustrating. So if you have latency and if someone is casting regen on you relentlessly, you can unclick that. I was doing that in a dungeon. I was tanking one of the expert roulettes, and the healer would hit me with regen. Now I know a good tank, that wouldn't bother them. I'm not a good tank. So I would manually click that shit off so that I could actually run up to the next group, grab them all without one of them running back and smacking the healer. I don't know. We're not all good tanks, but if it's fun, you should be able to at least get through your roulettes. You know what I mean?
True.
I'm not saying you're bad, Willem, but it's, if you
I think it's a learning experience.
You have to practice. You have to practice, and you have to, go read your buttons again.
And I do the same thing you do when you're talking about the button alignment. Like all my range to try to keep something similar, those cross roll things at least in the same place between them. I don't want to be on Scholar and Control 8 is Surecast. But on White Mage, Control 9 is Surecast. That's going to fuck me up to to the nth degree. So you kind of want, I try to keep, that heavier cure on number 2. So I know my 2 is always going to get you that good cure. Yeah. My 1 is the weaker cure. My 3 is a regen. Yada, yada, yada.
My AoE is 4. Yeah.
Right. And I mix them up in certain way that they're somewhat similar across the jobs. But the tanks are so cookie cutter right now. I think you can easily put your AoE spam ability on, Alt 2 and something on another letter and know that every time you hit the thing. I think it's just going through your tooltips and finding what is that AoE ability that you're not spamming. And it could be Dark Knight. I remember Dark Knight being a little weaker than the other tanks earlier on. Of course, we weren't doing Dark Knight in Hawk Manor. Dark Knight came out in 3.0. But there was a little bit of weakness for the Dark Knight as compared to the others. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know if the changing of abilities makes some things hard when they're lower level. I don't know. There could be
Unleash. Unleash is level 6. It gives unaspect damage, but it's not. Grit is enmity.
So make sure your grit is turned on. And
Unmend has additional enmity. That's single target, though. Sorry.
Well, it's probably a combination of making sure your grid is on, and that could be part of the case too. I honestly don't know. If your grid is on, that's your tank stance, and then you do whatever your AoE ability is. Make sure you do your combo, your 1, 2, 3, and do 1 on one mob and 2 on the other and 3 on the other, and keep it mixed up. I'm not a tank. I could be telling you completely bad advice, but I face them away from the other people. But if you already know how to tank, there's got to be some similarities between the two. Read the tooltips, find them, and away you go.
And if you're feeling down about it, if you have a free company or some link shells of nice people, that's how I do my tanking. I'll run an expert roulette as a tank, but usually only with a free company. And we're all in voice chat, and we all just laugh if I lose a mob or whatever. And I would be receptive to friendly, constructive criticism. No one in my free company is going to rage quit out of a dungeon just because I didn't pull to the wall. So if you got some friends in game or something, try to practice more with them, especially if one of them has a tank. I keep thinking of the time where I hadn't played Black Mage in forever, and I was in this dungeon and I was using an old rotation. They had given some buffs or something. I was using an old rotation or something, and someone's like, dude, I main Black Mage. Do you mind if I give you some tips? And I'm like, no, absolutely, please. They talked me through a couple things, and I probably improved during that dungeon. So but you do have to, people do have to be nice too, and not just be like, you suck. But if you got a friend who's a tank, maybe they would. And there's playing decent, and then there's playing really fucking good too. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't pull out my raid face when I'm doing a dungeon. I'm not like watching Netflix usually and just like only hitting Cure 2 or Medica 2 all the time. I'm actually, I try to do damage and whatever, but if you're having problems, you might have to ask for help, and neither of us here tanks, so we can't tell you.
We know some tanks who would totally tell you what to do.
Yeah, and they would not total assets about it, probably. All right, last call. I don't have any shout-outs except for, well, you know what? There was quite the discussion the other day about podcasts, and dear God, there are so many podcasts and streamers and YouTube, people who do YouTube videos. I just want to say, I'm not going to shout anybody out specifically, but it warms my heart. There's such a huge community of people that are not only playing the game but reporting on it. We have basically people who have been doing this forever. Ruby and I have been podcasting for a while, but there are people who have been running community sites and doing stuff even longer than us. Not that age has anything to do with how relevant you are. There's a lot of new people probably doing awesome stuff too. So I'm just excited that there's such growth in the game. And not just the players, but the people who are so excited that they are making content. So that's my mild shout out.
I like it. I don't have any shout outs because I haven't done anything. Shout out to Sony for their PlayStation Classic. Shout out to Woolay for Cube World. No, I'm shout out to everybody that's playing during the lull and really enjoying themselves, because you are the real MVP.
All right, then it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment, and if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. You can email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at YeltaSumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.